Good morning, good afternoon everybody. My name is Mauricio Chaim and I have been working for IBM for more than 10 years, most of them as a project manager. We all know that IBM is going through a big transformation. One point of this transformation is the adoption of Agile. We have heard a lot regarding Agile methodology on these last years, and many projects come to me and they have some questions, they have some doubts on how they can adopt or how they can use Agile on their projects. So the video today is to share a little bit what I have learned during these years managing projects and try to help you guys, especially the PM community, on how you can figure out if Agile is a good fit for your project or which is the best methodology you can use. Before we go through the tips that I'm gonna give to you, let's keep in mind that don't confuse being Agile with Agile methodology, okay? You can be Agile in everything you do, in every activity you do, but using Agile methodology may not be the best option to all the projects you manage. With that said, I'm gonna give you 2 tips to help you choose the best methodology. First thing, we need to classify our project. We have 4 types of systems or projects. Okay, we have the simple projects. When we talk about simple, think about best practice. I'm gonna talk a little bit more in next few minutes. The other kind is the complicated project. When we talk about complicated, think on a good practice project. We also have the complex systems or project. When we talk about complex, let's think about something new, an emergent. And the last one, the chaotic. Think about a novel, about a system or project that change all the time. Let's understand a little bit better the concept of each one of those kinds. So this will help you to classify. The first one, the simple project. When we talk about a simple project, think about a project where everything is defined. You have a great knowledge and almost no doubt about the scope. We can say the scope is 100% clear and all the processes are very well defined. The conditions of this simple project cannot be changed as well. And any change, this is important, any change can put your final project, your delivery in risk. And keep this word change, keep that in mind. You're gonna see that I'm gonna talk about change on all the 4 types of systems that we're gonna talk about. Another key point to identify a simple project is that this project, you will follow a plan. Okay, now everybody loves examples, so let's give an example of a simple project. To change a flat tire. When you have to change a flat tire, you have to follow the plan. You have all these steps by steps. You understand the scope, the environment, the knowledge. You have the knowledge about that. So think, if you change anything on this step, on this plan, what can happen to your final product? So this kind of project, no change. My suggestion, use waterfall or any other methodology. Agile is not a good fit. Let's go to the second type, the complicated. When we think about, I just said, complicated, we talk about good practice, not best practice as the simple project. The complicated is when all the requirements are known. You know the requirements, you know the scope, but they can increase during the project life cycle. You also know the technology to be used because maybe you have done that before. You have managed projects like that before. They might have some unknown aspects, okay, that can arise. An example of this, let's say to build a house or a building. You know the requirements, you know the technology because you have done that before. If you're not, you have lessons learned from any other PM or other history. You know that there are a lot of process and you know the risks already. Most of the risks you know. So the unknown risks are very small. So this is a complicated project. What kind of methodology did you use in this case? Either Agile or Waterfall is going to work for you. Let's think that in this kind of complicated, you might have some change. Here's the word change again. You might have some change, but think about a building on 2 apartments per floor. You cannot on the 3rd or 4th floor to change an apartment and have, instead of 1 or 2 bedrooms, want to have 4 or 5. You can do small change like broken wall or something like this, but you have the structure, so you cannot change too much. So this is a good fit for Agile, but it will work well on a waterfall methodology. Next one, let's talk about the third kind of system, the complex one. The complex, we talk, that is a kind of system, it's a new, we call emergent. What is this? This is a project. A project is complex when the scope is not clear, the requirements are not clear, there are a lot of questions yet. So a lot of things can change. A lot of things can change on this complex one. An example for this one, build a software. When you're gonna build a software, during the project life cycle, many things can change. New technologies can come up, the scenario can change, the platform can change. So you need to have a big iterations and you need to be able to adapt and change your scope. This scenario, perfect for Agile. Use Agile, your customer or client will be very satisfied. Fourth kind of system, the chaotic one. As the name says, think about a novel, a project that can change every time. In this kind of system, the scenario is unknown. The scope is not 100% defined yet. Project, this is important. The project, it can change depending on your initial condition. I'm gonna give you an example. Think about an emergency room at a hospital. You have an accident, you have a victim, and the guy comes to you. You cannot open the guy and follow a plan. It depends on your condition. You're gonna have to change. On this kind of scenario is a perfect scenario where you can use Agile. You need to have a lot of iterations with your customers, product owner to be able to adopt your system and do the need changes. Now that we have talked about all the four kind of systems, I believe you will be able to classify your project and see if Agile is a good fit for you. Another tip is to get your customer buy-in. You can identify your project to be a good option to use Agile methodology, but if you do not get the buy-in from your customer, forget it. Keep on the waterfall or another whatever methodology you're using, because we need to have the customer buy-in to change and do this transformation to use Agile. And there are some teams and coins that can help you to do this transformation and show the benefits to your customer. If you have any question, you can contact me. I will be very happy to help you. My ID is right here. I hope this video can help you. Thank you and see you next time.